All right, we'll just make sure everything's got some fuel in it. I'm going to run this Neotech a little more, 68cc. It's an original. It's not a clone or anything like that. I like it because it has the push bulb there for the start and all that. And we'll just take as a backup this little Gar winner that I got here. I do want to say thanks to Yard Mars. They sent me a bunch of stuff. It's been super handy, including some chaps, not those, but the other ones. But let me get everything loaded up. We're going to go on an adventure today. We got two large trees. Some people would call them huge trees. So I think one of them may have some spalty stuff and some of it may not. You just don't never know. You're going to have to hang out. All right, so I think we're all set up. We got our head gear and ear protection. I did get some chainsaw chaps / gloves. I don't know why I call them chaps. I guess they're chaps for your hands. I did pick up this little 24, or actually it's a 17 inch. I thought I got the 24. Fist guard is, oh it is, 23 inch. I don't know why it says 17 there. But I like the fist guard products. Little pickaroon here, in case they got to grab some of the logs, especially if they're on the ground. It is copperhead season, so I think we're good. Fuel, chaps, ear protection, all the stuff we need. Couple chainsaws in case I get one hung up. We should be good to go. Just driving out to the back field where those two trees are. There's a fox sleeping right there. And I haven't seen the fox. God, goodness, the sun is horrible. I haven't seen a fox here in a while. So I guess it's getting cool out again. The foxes are back out. I don't want you guys messing with my turkeys. Where'd he go? He'll probably run off, probably hide in the bushes somewhere over there. But let's go over here. The two trees are back up in here, and I've got to cut like a little bit of a trail, not a whole lot. We'll get down to them and cut into them a little bit just to get a feel for what the trees are gonna possibly produce. One of them's been down for a while, so I'm hoping for some spaltiness in that tree. The other one had a heart rot, and I think there's gonna be some lumber possibilities up at top. But I think I can go in right here. Don't remember where that sucker is. Oh no, there they are. Right there. See, it's leaning up in the air back down in there. So we'll sneak in right. Yeah. There it is. There it is. All right, we can get to them down there. It's always fun. These microphones are so tiny. But these are the ones that don't make that weird noise when you start the chainsaw. The only thing I worry about is them coming off real easy. But they seem to be really well at picking up the sound. So let me get my PPE on for my chainsaw. We got to nip a few branches right here and make access into the woods. Pretty straight shot. I could probably even back the truck in there. But we're going to go down. The one is up in the air, so that's going to be a little tricky. To get it down. I don't have the logging winch on the tractor because we're using the big 15-foot bat wing, so I can still hook a chain around it. We could get it down, but I want to do a cut into it and see if there's any good wood in it. But the other one that's been down, I'm hoping it's spalty. So let me get myself situated, then we'll get in there and we'll get to cutting it and find out what we got. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I had trimmed up some of those trees over there, and I had just thrown some of these branches, of course, in my way, and I guess that happens. But just to be careful, I'm not going to pull anything off the ground directly, because like I said, it is that time of the year when the copperheads are out, and well, I just don't feel like picking one up by hand. Oh, use the pickaroon as an axe. That always works well. But I got to get rid of that branch. But it's almost a complete straight shot down there. So we'll cut a few branches out of our way, work our way down in there, and we'll take a peek at that log tree and see what we got. And we'll put headgear on. All right, let's see how easy this fires up. I haven't run this for about a month, I guess. Not quite a month. So I do like that it's got the bulb. Choke it. Oh, that's right, it's got the easy start. Oh God. Through the chain, put the chain back on. I keep a little kit in here. I keep a little kit in there. It's supposed to have the scrunch in it. The good thing, this little bag, I had it because I was like, I took it out. Either I put it on the tractor or so, I don't know what I did with it. I lose scrunches like they're going out of style. So I buy a bunch of these orange ones because I won't lose those as much. You can get them off Amazon in packs. They're not even like, it's like a 5-pack for like 20 bucks or something like that. You can never have enough of them around. I don't know why this came off. I thought I checked it and made sure the bar was tight. But when you're messing with vines and stuff, it's easy to get them up under there. But the only thing I don't like about these little saws is they have like the tiniest amount of room in here. If you got big fingies, you can't get in there. You get the nuts off very good. It's kind of a pain, but that's something I've noticed all about them. I guess those little China guys got skinny fingers or something. They don't need a big spot for big meat fingers like some of us got. So it's back on there. It does have a external clutch system on it like a Husky. So it's got some of the Husky features where you have your bulb for priming it. It's got the side adjustment here on the side. So, man, you got to have like itty bitty tiny fingers. You can't even get your fingers in there. Like this, I just probably need to just cut that stupid section right there off. I don't think it'll weaken it up enough to hurt anything, but it is a pain. I mean, I shouldn't be having to do this a ton other than when I'm sharpening it, but hey, you know what? That's kind of a pain. They just need to leave that off of there. And I think it'd be a lot better. I don't know how that, I don't remember it being that loose, but I did just sharpen it, so maybe I didn't run it after I sharpened it. If you don't run it real quick after you sharpen it, you'll think it's tight. You'll think it's tight, but it's not. So your best just to crank it up, run it for a second, and you usually got to go back and retighten it. So let's find out what goes on here. See, I got to get used to that too. This has the, it goes back to start right after you cut it off. You just got to remember to hold the shut off button down. It's all right. I'm supposed to move about a 1/4 inch. That feels decent enough. If it comes off, I'll fix it again. All right, we kind of got a hole there going on over here. Start of a hole. I got another little branch, but you see the tree back there leaning up. So it's one of them leaners. So I'll have to take a cut off of it to get it up in the air, or down out of the air, put it that way. Not up in the air, it's already up in the air. Yeah, cold start for my brain this morning, apparently. All right, let's get my gloves on here. We'll go clean it up a little bit. Then we'll walk down to the tree and see what we got. Let's walk down, see if we can get our first cut on this tree, and see if I can get to come down a little bit. I want to cut into that spalty one next to it, but there might not be anything left of it. I don't know. See, the turkeys have been in here. Groundhog hole. Pretty easy to get around. Let's walk up over here. I'll walk in one of these holes. Trip myself up. Now, that spalty one looks a little too rotten. I don't think there'll be anything left of that one. We'll take a cut out of it. See what happens. Tripping on these vines. And I'm going to set you guys back here. Hopefully you can see. And you see? Yeah, you can see. Let's just try to get it. I just want to see if there's anything any good in it. It's got some big woodpecker holes in it. The top. So it's been dying for a while. Might not be anything worth anything. Before I go through a lot of trouble, cut into it a little bit. Well, you don't know unless you go explore as to what you got, but that thing just disintegrated as it fell apart. So, but don't worry, I had a backup plan. That tree's down. I've got another one down there. It's nice and kind of oblong, kind of weird shaped. And that one I'm thinking possibly some cookies out of. So we'll just work our way. We'll cut into that tree right there. I'd have to cut that tree up a little bit anyways to get the tractor over there. So we'll just work our way down. It's poplars, that's what happens. They fall over, not much you can do about it. As you can see, that thing is just, it just fell apart like dust. So our next subject, let's go check this one out here and see if there's anything in it any good. Here's our our fallen tree. But you know, sometimes when these things fall, they'll actually dry out and get pretty tough inside. That one's steadily creaking. I got to keep my eye on the back of that, my backside eye on that thing. But I mean, if you hear it, it sounds pretty solid. It could be powder inside, but these poplar trees make really nice spalted lumber. So why not? I have the trail, the other one's down there. So to get to it, I got to kind of clean these leaners up anyway. So hey, it doesn't hurt. Let's just cut it up and see if there's anything in it. I do have a backup plan. Yeah, actually, that's funny. That one leaning was so powder dried. This is actually solid inside, and it's got a little color to it. So that log, these vines. You don't know. So you don't know. Like that one was dust and powder. You'd think with it leaning up in the air, this is closer to the ground, but it's not on the ground because another tree caught it. So it actually has some decent stuff in it. I'm not going to complain. Matter of fact, I'm going to cut up a few more cookies and we'll take them back. I said I had a backup plan for the video. So I'm going to go ahead and cut some cookies out of it. I might try to go, I'm going to cut it down here and see if how far down it might be any good. I'm thinking I can go up here and have like probably a 12-foot section that I can make cookies out of. So let's do that. Easy start. a little hard to get your finger on that button, but most of this is really solid, even out to the ends, and they're not super heavy. So you guys know that I work with, come on. You guys know I work with Preservation Solutions, and they do have a spalty wood treatment called pyro krill. So it looks like, let me pull this up here. It looks like most of it is decent, except for right up in here, but it's still solid. So we will treat that with the poly krill, and that will, if there's any softer stuff, it will fortify it and give it some strength back. So I'm happy with what I'm getting. That piece, I think probably 2 or 3 feet of it's going to be okay. But so I'm going to go ahead and cut maybe like a half a dozen of this tree up, and you can watch this little saw run, see how it does. And then after that, we'll take it back up to the flattening jig, and let's run and flatten a couple of these and see how the bit works on it when the stuff's a little softer. I did get a new bit as well, so I think it's going to add quality to the cutting of the router, and we're going to have less lines. And it may be very important, the one that I got may be very important when it comes to this softer stuff. So I'm just going to cut this tree up for a little bit, enjoy watching the saw run, see how it does in case you're interested in it. 68 cc, so it's a little bigger than the 6220s. It does have the Pro Start, so you hold it to cut it off on the off trigger, you let go of it and it's ready to start. It has the bulb primer like you'd find on the Huskies, but it opens up really good and seems to run fantastic. So it reminds me of my Steels, the way it opens up, the RPM and all. So far I've been really happy with it. So hey, if you get anything out of the video, you get to see what I think is a pretty cool saw. For the size, it's about the same weight as a 6220, but you got that extra cc's, and that extra cc's really seems to make quite a big difference in the performance. So let's get to cutting. I'm going to just bring you guys in a little closer to the saw itself, and I'm just going to cut away, and I'm just going to lower you down. So performance time for the saw while I get a few things done that are beneficial to my woodworking. So that's what we're doing today, just collecting stuff. Get you down a little more. Just collecting things to make wood products out of. So this is the fun part of what I do. I enjoy it. So get my ears back on. with this saw. It seems to have that little extra power over the 62cc with not much bigger of a bar. And I just think it has better controls like the on-off and the push button primer. So I'm super happy with it. I'm glad I got it. And it was on sale for $144. I think it's just under $200 now. And it's worth every bit of that for sure. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm glad I bought it. It is a little hard to get your fingers just right on that. This stuff's smoking a little bit. With that open port exhaust, that's why they say without a screen is dangerous for forestry work. So, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Some of these I cut pretty thick because people like the nice thick look of them. So, they'll get a little smaller. I think I did pretty good on the sizes, but man, these are going to make, so they got a little bit of spaltiness. They're going to make nice little stools or little end tables is what I do with them. So nice stuff, nice stuff. All right, I made a little bit of a trail. I'll back the truck down here. It wasn't that hard to make a trail in here because there's going to be a lot more pieces of this log. And the old barbed wire fence is like right behind you. We need to get that out of here anyways. We're not using it for cattle anymore. So I've been wanting to clean that up. But it's nice to have a nice trail. I used to have a trail that came in down across here. To get the skid steer back, we'll go doing a lot of trailblazing, cleaning up. But I want to get down to that log eventually. So might as well. And unhooking the tractor from the brush hog don't make any sense. So Toyota should handle backing down in here. If it can't handle backing down in here, then I need to get a new truck. So should be just fine. I got most of the trees. I gotta drive over a few little branches and stuff here and there. Might kick up and hit the run boards or something like that. Move a few of these out of the way right here real quick. And then we'll go from there. You know how you break them and they'll kick up and hit the side of the truck. So do a little due diligence here and throw a few off to the side. Not a big deal. Not any big deal. I get a little bit of a workout today. Not push myself too hard. Have a little fun doing it. Always like new wood for projects. I'll start this up, stuff way in the tailgate. So also let me test the range on the microphone, on the mic. See if it goes up here to the truck or not. I'll know once I edit the film. This is how I did. Oh, left my other glasses on here. Let's slide some of this stuff back out of my way. Get my other glasses for reading. Oh, just back right down in there. Should not be nothing but a thing. See how much truck dings at me. The truck being so long, it doesn't like backing through tight spots. So Driving out won't be no big deal. Use my cameras and ignore the, hey, there's a branch there. Will that mirror knock it down? Let's pull up and get that branch off of there. I'll take the truck off-road for a little bit. I haven't done anything with it like that in a while. So, might as well. Wireless connection failed. Okay, that's fine. Oh. My brake won't let me go. The brake's cut on automatically. So if it detects something too close, it slams the truck brakes on. How do you like that? I mean, it's an avoidance thing, which I'm cool with. But I couldn't get that one tree right there out of the way. All right, well, I'm down here. I might as well cut a few more. I got some of them loaded up in the truck. So we'll run this saw a little bit. I wanted to kind of run this saw some as well. So why not? And see how it does. It does look like this tree had like a check right here because it landed on some logs. So it's probably an impact point. But I think I can get 2 or 3 more cuts off of it before I have to worry about that. Yeah, see, look at it. That's what you call a wind shake. Yeah, see it just falling apart. But I'd cut them up for little kindling pieces, something like that. That's the last good one. And so I'll take what I can get. That other tree down there, what I like about that other tree down there is it's oblong. Now I don't want just round, I want oblong. So as far as I know, there's no maples. There's none on this part of the property. It's mainly poplar and gum. But that tree down there, I think I'm just gonna hold off and wait for another day. We'll take our goodies that we got now and put the saws and stuff away, go back to the shop and flatten a few of these. So I don't know, that wind shake might go up in there another foot. It may go all the way through, but it's up off the ground. So as long as the log's up off the ground, it'll continue to dry out and get hardened like that, except for the top where the rain hits it. But so far it seems to be doing pretty decent, so we will let it continue to do its thing. Now, some of you may ask, and if you don't watch all the video, you won't know the answer to this. Some of you may say, well, what about the bugs in it? Obviously, there's some buggies in there because it's wet. Well, as it dries, they won't have anything to eat, but I will treat that with timber bore. You buy timber bore. We got 5 gallons of it because we spray all our buildings with it. The new buildings, like the log buildings and stuff we built, because we're using rough lumber. So we spray all that with it, and we've been really happy with that. They haven't had any issue with the bugs in it. And some of them we sprayed like over 20 years ago. Some we've sprayed in the last 5 years, the last building I built. So it seems to be just fine. So we've sprayed on our beams and our logs and our siding on the inside and out. We usually let it sit for 30 days or so before we mess with staining it or whatever we're going to do with the outside. I think I got everything. Talking to you guys since I forget stuff. So actually, I'm just going to put these in there. So let's take these goodies. Make sure it's out of the way, or it'll be dinging at me. We'll take our goodies down to the flattening jig and see what we can make happen. I don't see any other trees leaning or falling over. There's a big cherry tree over there that's been leaning at about 30 degrees for the last 15 years or so. It's not touching another tree, but it hasn't come over yet, so we're not cutting it up or cutting it down. We have plenty of cherry logs. My big cherry stump's still up there. I got to go cut into that, get some slices out of that. But hunting season's coming soon. I'm excited. Cooler weather. I really like the cool weather. It's easy on my ticker and my lungs. And I've already lost 5 pounds in the last 2 weeks, so I've got to get down to about, I like to get less than 200. I like to be like 185, 195. So that'll take a lot off my heart and my lungs. And we'll let God work on the rest of that. I'll just do my part. So let's get to the shop and play with some of this wood. I got them unloaded. I threw a little sanding on that one just real quick, but we'll get them on the flattening jig just a second here. We're walking past all my junk and wood projects. So some of you who follow the channel know that I'm doing these giant cherry cookies for little tables, and I'm kind of doing it the soaking and paint on brush way, not the preferred way for the pentacryle, but if I soak it really good over a couple days and let it just really kind of leave a little extra on there and let it go in, it seems to do fine. So I'm just dumping it on out of the big 5 gallon on there, and then I'm painting it on as I go. So prefer that you have a big tub or something to put this in, but I'm getting it all the way out to the sides, brushing it in. I say they prefer that you soak it 1 inch, basically 48 hours to 72 hours per inch. Soak it in a big tub. And so I had bought some kids pools, and they all didn't work worth a darn. I did get a tarp, but I kind of started these in here. So to put in that little pool, so I will be doing those big pecan cookies that I have in the jig right now, the flattening jig. So I'm just doing these really quick before I get started on another project. I figured I'd just bring you in there in case you guys haven't seen the other videos of where I'm doing these. I have already done some in the past, made tables and everything out of giant cookies, cherry cookies. They came out really nice. They weren't as big as this. These unfortunately do have a check in it, pretty much through the whole log. So I'll have to fill those with epoxy, and it's no big deal. No big deal. I'll add a little character to it. So let's go outside now that I'm done with this. So basically you want to just really soak it. I guess the biggest thing is you're not going to get as good a penetration like on this outside where I'm just kind of brushing it in versus soaking it. But I'm taking my time, making sure this is getting saturated really good so we won't have any problems with it. But I'm going to do another method here for too long. Along with these, I'm going to actually build basically like a 4-inch tall square or something like that. I do have a heavy tarp that I'm going to put in it, and we'll go from there. So if I put a tarp in there and I set this down, I can pour the penacryl in it and over it and let it soak in it, and I can fold the tarp over it to keep the from evaporating. But let's go back out here. I worked my way through all my crazy projects. Always got projects. That's a nice little burl. And I got another burl project over there I'm slowly gluing up and working on. That's the fun of doing what I do, is I just kind of work on projects as I have time. So here is the big pecan cookie. I have 2 other ones that I want to get done. I do have another kid's tub in there. This is a work in progress. Ignore all that. So what I have is a 4 cutter with the carbide tips on it. So a friend of mine told me about, he's doing this as well. Got a little different jig setup. He said there's a 6 cutter and he kind of likes that. So I bought it. So we're going to flatten this side right here, get this done. Then I'm going to switch that over to the 6 blade cutter. We're going to do the other side. We'll see how it does. And what I'm really curious about is when you get the spalty stuff, if it's going to tear this out or cut it, or just tear it to pieces when I try to cut it. So that's kind of like what I want to do as far as testing goes today, is test that and see how it works. So let's get to it. All right, I got my mask on. We're going to take off. It's about an 1/8 inch, a heavy 1/8 inch. Let's see how it comes out. Seems to be a little much for that. that definitely, you can see if you stop at all, that stuff will immediately start to burn. And I can feel it's raised up a little teeny bit. But this is basically hickory, it's pecan. That's pretty tough, and I've cut quite a bit with this bit. But I still got to go down probably another 1/8 inch. So what I'm going to do is bring you back as I finish this up, get this side done, then we'll put the six blade cutter on it, and we'll run the 6-blade cutter over the other side. Then when we get done with that, we'll put one of the spalty poplar pieces on here to see how well the blade does on something softer. You know, see if it's going to really tear it out or if it'll actually cut it. So this is still pretty wet. We'll be treating it with the penacryl as well. So my blade started getting dull. So I've got this 2-sided diamond card, and I go through and I can just lightly go over it and get that edge back. It's a little tricky, but just gotta look under the underside and get it. It doesn't take a whole lot if you don't let it get really dull. It doesn't take much to get that edge back. You feel it. That's back. A little bit more on that one. These little diamond cards are nice. Just get it on the angle. Take a little practice, but you can get it. It's not too hard. This one doesn't have the replaceable tips on it. This is just a regular cutter. So when it's wore out, it's wore out. So we'll put it back together here. It started burning and it kept throwing the breaker. It was just getting too dull. Get this mask off here so you can hear me. Yeah, that did a lot better. It even was raising it up right in here a little bit. Didn't take a whole lot to get it sharp with a diamond cut flat diamond card. So I don't remember what the grits were on this, but this thing is handy. Takes a little bit of practice to get your angles right, but it'll make that blade last a lot longer. So I'm going to go ahead and switch everything out now and put the new cutter on it. So this is what it looks like, you know, after I'm done with it. Hopefully you guys can see it all right. Get out of the shadow. So you can see a little bit of lines, a little teeny bit. When I sharpened it, it did a lot better. Even went back over this area right in here, and it still cut some more off because apparently it was lifting it up. But it did a good job now. So no more big burning or anything like that in there. Okay, we're gonna switch over from this here, which is just a 4 cutter. It's fixed blade, but like I said, it wasn't that hard to sharpen it. Now we are going up in size, so this has got, see, 6 cutters. It's not as thick as far as the thickness here, but the blades, see if you see it. So this one's going to take more of a cut. This is going to take less of a cut. The only other thing too is see how this indentation right here, that's going to allow the debris to come out. So I don't know how well this is going to work compared to it, but it wasn't, I think it was like under 20, I was like maybe $21 delivered. But I wanted to try six and see if it made a difference. I have a feeling because stuff can get out from behind this in the fore, and if I sharpened it and it did really good, it seemed to work fine. And this may be too much of a cutter for the router to handle. You know, maybe taking off too much meat. I don't know. Come on. It's not catching. It helps to go the right way. There we go. The correct way. I actually found the wrench for it. For some reason, this wrench is totally different than the DeWalt. They all like to make each one of them specialized, so that you gotta make sure you keep track of this, or you'll have a heck of a time changing the blades. Now it won't come. The little thing won't pop up. Come on, pop up. Difficulties. Okay, I got the new bit on there. And I kind of started a little bit, but I got a little zealous there. I still think I may be taking off a little too much over here. So I'm going to go ahead and raise it up a little bit. So, being that that bit is wider and bigger, the biggest thing is I'm trying to get a better finish. But I don't know if it's really necessary, but we'll try it and see what happens. No, it's too much. It's blowing the breaker. I keep blowing the breaker. Try that again, see what happens. It doesn't restart. You got to cut it off and cut it back on. Well, I don't know if that was necessarily better. I pull my mask off. I don't know if that was necessarily better, because what my experience is, I'm still seeing the lines in it, but now I got such a big bit on there that I can't take as much off and it's blowing the breaker. So, and as well, I can't use as much of the bit because it's too much for the router. So maybe if I was doing slabs where I'm not cutting across the end grain like this, it would be better. Doesn't seem better for this application, but it may do better on the softer wood. So until I put that in here and try it, we're just not going to know. But we're going to do that next. I'm going to go ahead and finish this side of this one up, and then I'll get the spalted poplar in here that we were working on at the beginning of the video and see if it's going to be better for softer wood. So that's kind of the whole reason I got it. So it's learning, experimenting and learning. That's what we're doing. Experimenting and learning. Well, I'll leave this right here where it is. I was getting ready to do some more stuff, and then all of a sudden I got a massive nosebleed, and I haven't had one of those for a long time. So I'll have to call it quits, and we'll get to that spalty maple on the next video. So just kind of caught me off guard. And it was all right, there you go. So one big old. We will see you on the next cookie video slice. I don't know if the picture does any justice, but here's me compared to this cookie. 35 inches in diameter. That's the big boy.